This week on Chapters Over Coffee, we're talking about 26 through 30, and things are heating up, and Saeris may be one step closer to making the relics for Kingfisher.
Okay, so we open this week's episode, chapter 26, where they're still in Ballard. They've just gone to like his little apartment. Well, she thinks it's like a hotel room, apartment room, whatever. But, we found out last episode that's where they kind of lived and stuff, him and his mom. And so Saris wakes up in the middle of the night. There's screaming that's coming from Fisher's room. So she races in there to find him having some kind of attack due to the Quicksilver. Or at least she assumes. I don't know if it was actually confirmed it was the Quicksilver or she just assumes that it has to do with the Quicksilver. I honestly thought he was having nightmares at first when I first started to read this of what I think will eventually get spoiled that was insinuated but not directly said about what happened to him those missing years by our lovely friend Malcolm. So I thought maybe he was having nightmares.
I thought he was doing something like to him, like from a distance. Because he was
That would have been good
screaming,
too.
no, stop, don't. Like,
Yeah.
so.
Um, he kind of gets upset. He tells her he doesn't want her in there while it's happening. Tells her to leave. She refuses to let him go through that alone. And he tells her it could last for an hour or two. She wants to get someone, but he says not to worry about it and just tells her to get some water. He can't move anything. Like he cannot. He just can't move. Like he's almost paralyzed. While this is all going on, and he tells her that he's gonna make her go if he needs to. Like he'll force her to go. He'll use that oath. And she says, if you use the oath you tricked me into to force me from this room right now, I will never forgive you. I will find a way to make your life absolutely fucking miserable. In fact, while we're here and having such a lovely conversation about this, you're never going to compel me against my will again. Do you hear me? Do you understand? He starts to say, I don't need. She says, I'm not fucking around, Fisher. If you have any respect for me, if you care about me even the tiniest, most minuscule amount, you will never, ever compel me again. Do you understand? And after a few seconds, he fucking gives in and he says that he understands he's not going to do it again. Let's hope that he sticks to that, which we know he's an oath-bound fae, so when he agrees to something, he kind of has to abide by that. That's just what they do. But doesn't mean that he's not going to try to find some wiggle room around that without
Right.
forcing her to do something, but get her to still do that.
All the little loopholes.
Yeah. Um, so she ends up sitting with him for 4 hours while his episode passes, sitting behind him, holding him, just trying to keep him calm, have somebody there. And he asks her to tell him something about her life from before, but she doesn't really know what to tell him because she doesn't have too many happy memories. He tells her he doesn't want happy, he wants real story. Like he wants real. No happy, sappy, like he wants real anything. So we learn more backstory from her, and I like that we got this backstory,
Oh,
although
yeah.
not all of it was like obviously good. He doesn't want happy, he doesn't want good. He wants like real, raw, fucking just everything that happened. Um, so we learn her father died when she was 2. She doesn't really remember him, but her mother was about 4 months pregnant with Hayden. He had suffocated when a sand dune had come down on a trader's outpost on the glass flats. Her mother then became a prostitute after losing his income, mostly selling her body for food and water, but she did make some money from time to time as well. but her client list mostly comprised of guardians. She worked from Kala's and sometimes from their home. And then she tells him about how Elroy loved her mom. He never tried anything with her. He would take care of her when the guards beat her. Um, and then she made Elroy promise to let Saeris work in the forge when she was old enough, so that way she wouldn't follow in her mother's footsteps. Um, Her mother then was smuggling weapons into the ward, and she would hand them out to her friends at college to be able to defend themselves. Like the weapons went to them first, and then everything else, after that. She also started bringing home swords and shields, the kind that, would get her killed if she was caught with them. And she starts to introduce Saeris to all kinds of men after around the time that she was having her run items from their house to the forge, which was kind of smart, but also like a big responsibility for her young child, because who's going to pay attention to a scrawny kid running back and forth like that, Fisher starts to get like upset because being introduced to all kinds of different men. So, she described it and stuff. But she reassures him that they weren't that kind of men. They never touched her. What they had done was they actually showed her everything that she was fucking good at. How to be a thief. They showed her where the entrances were to the tunnels, where they were at underground for the reserves for the water reservoirs and stuff, so she could siphon off water. They showed her how to tap those tanks, be able to siphon some here and there. They showed her how to pick locks, how to climb, how to fight with daggers, how to throw them. There would be a rebel that stayed in the attic for a week, maybe a month, sometimes even 2, and then they would switch out and it would be somebody new. Hayden was too young to know and understand any of this, but she took care of Hayden since her mom was hardly ever home. She spent her days in the forge. Then she cared for Hayden, cooked for him, cleaned the house. Then she'd go out stealing whatever they needed once he was asleep. She hardly ever slept herself. She took naps whenever she could, just so she could keep on going. She also tells him that her mother started to get angry because she was tired of being treated like crap. She was degraded by men who thought they were better than her, so she stopped accepting the guardians as her clients. A lot of her regulars, we learned, did not like that. And then 6 years prior to now's events is when her mother died. Her mother was fucking murdered, like cold blood, fucking just slaughtered in the street, basically. She left the house and she forgot her water ration, so Saeris grabbed it, knowing that if she didn't have it, she would not get anything for the day, and goes after her mother. And there she finds her in the square on her knees in front of one of the guardians that she had turned away the night before. Smug look on his face, just, having the time of his life. And he has others that are searching her bags. They find 2 super dull knives that, like, pretty much weren't worth being able to do anything with. And they slit her throat. Didn't do an arrest. There was no trial. She says that they like carrying out their sentences on the spot, and that she died face down in the sand in the blistering heat, while 5 men pissed on her hair and her back and then left her. Obviously, she couldn't do anything herself, so she had to go back and get Elroy. They come back. People are taking her clothes. They're ripping them off of her body. Somebody even makes a comment that she doesn't say to Fisher, that she was a dirty, disease-riddled whore who didn't care about the world seeing her tits, and then threw, like, fucked up money, scraps of pennies, I don't know, on her body. Then they buried her, or they burned her. They did like a pyre and stuff the next day and burnt her in the dunes. Um, After that, they got home. That's when the quarantine started. Theirs was the first to be quarantined. There was a big black X painted on their home. It was basically condemned. They couldn't even stay there anymore. And then there were more that followed after that. And then after a week, Madra had the whole ward placed on lockdown. No one was able to go in, no one could leave, and that it was stricken by the plague, which we all know was not necessarily true. She just didn't want to fucking take care of them.
I wonder if it
Which
also
I
had to
feel,
do with that one of them, her mom had daggers, so what's not to say anybody else that that was their way of protecting themselves from being
yeah,
attacked.
yeah,
Putting
for
them on
sure.
lockdown, saying, "Hey, you got the plague. You can't come in and out. Keep them.
Yep,
Let them
yep,
fight
because you're
each other.
smuggling weapons. We're just not gonna take care of you. You're gonna become the poorest in the wards,
Just
and
let them
we're
fight
just
each other.
fuck you. Yeah,
Let them fight each
yep.
other."
You can have shit water and all of that, even more than you were before.
Yep.
They weren't able to stay with Elroy. She was afraid that everybody would start putting two and two together, realizing that he was the one that was helping with the weapons and stuff that her mother was carrying, and she didn't want to endanger him. So they slept in attics, mostly above like taverns and stuff. So then that way, little bits of noise wouldn't make a difference. Fisher then has her like snuggle up next to him and stuff like that, and he cuddles her to sleep. And this is when we find out that his mother was killed. Not like she didn't die of natural causes, she didn't die in an accident, like she was killed. Um, and then that they have that in common, and then they fall asleep. Uh, so she wakes up. She wakes up and it's still dark, okay? She knows he's not asleep, he's not breathing heavy, like, anything like that. And he's all tense. He's got some middle of the night morning wood going on. Pressed up against her back and stuff, and almost like he's afraid to move and everything, so as to not obviously. I don't know if he's not trying to make it obvious or what, but honestly, I mean, who's not going to feel that on their back?
Right.
Um, and she starts thinking, he's going to get up and leave. He's going to roll over and tell you that he doesn't want you there. He's going to say something shitty so that way you'll leave. But he doesn't. And here she is, laying there contemplating. She described it as letting the door close, and she doesn't want to let that door close. So she says, fuck it, and goes for it. And so then they have like this whole little dirty, and she's got a lot of thoughts going on in her head this time. And I feel like this feeds even more into some sort of bond. And like, I thought maybe it was a soul bond. I still think that there's something there, maybe. But
Mate.
there's
To me,
some
it's a
sort of
mate
bond with
bond.
them. But like, she can talk to him because, well, and there's another part in this chapter where she's like, you can read my thoughts. And he's like, I can only when you talk directly to me. So like, she's thinking this stuff in her head, but she's like manifesting it to him. So she's got all these dirty thoughts of stuff that she wants him to do to her. And he's like, okay, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm going to do all the things that you want. Because, I mean,
The
hello.
talking, the talking
Why
back and
wouldn't
forth,
he?
the talking back and forth in the mind is a total mate thing. I've read enough fantasy
Yeah.
books that deal with mates like that to know that that is a mate bond.
Yeah. Uh, so they finish. They go back to sleep. You guys can get the book if you want to read the fucking dirty details on the dirty deeds, because we're not gonna lay it all out there for you. Um,
That point would just be
but
you're listening to a porno.
yeah, yeah.
Just get the audio book.
Listen, I don't have a sexy enough voice to read all of that the way that it needs to be read, because you can't just read it.
Get the audio
You
book.
have to put you have to put like, some good voice into it. I don't have a sexy enough voice for that. So, yeah, get the audiobook, read it yourself and have your own sexy voice in your head. Whatever you need to do. Okay? But it was good. Okay? It was good. Then she gets to wake up to the smell of hot, fresh, buttery bread and coffee. Like he had stuff laid out for her. She jokes that she would have gotten dressed, but 4 different throwing knives, a field dressing kit, and a bottle of whiskey isn't exactly a clean pair of underwear and a toothbrush. And her clothes were fucking shredded from the night before with his little shadow trick that he does.
So we know not to allow him to pack bags.
Yeah. Yeah. So then he like does his little shadow trick, and she's got like this little sexy outfit on or whatever. And, she even asks him if that's what he pictures her wearing most of the time, like little undergarments. And he,
So the
quips
typical
that,
nothing.
yeah,
Rather
like
have
if I had my
nothing.
choice, you'd be wearing nothing. Like, okay.
Typical male response.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So she sits down to eat and notices that she has a fuck ton of brand new tattoos all over her arms. There's delicate scripts that are wound around her wrists, up her forearms, and on both of her hands. And he tells her that some mean light, dark, silver, steel, earth, air, fire, water. Some like simple alchemist stuff, which makes sense. It suits her. And then he tells her that he can't tell her what the big one on her one hand means because he can't give her a definitive answer just yet. She's freaking out. She even makes a comment like, my mother would never approve of something like this. Um, so he starts thinking and thinking, and then he decides that like he hides them, but tells her that they're not gone for good. She is able to change her mind. Later on, she only has a month to decide if she wants to keep them. If she doesn't decide to keep them, they just won't come back. If she accepts them, they'll come back. Um, she even asks, about his, and his biggest one means sacrifice. That's open to interpretation, basically, as to exactly what that means, why it's there. We all kind of know from what we've read, obviously, like why. And he gets a little, I wouldn't say mad, but he apologizes that he can't take the one back. And at first, she obviously thinks that he's talking about the bird, but he's talking about the bite on her neck. And then he just gets up and he leaves.
I wonder if he sealed it. The bond.
I am wondering though if like it is a sex thing, but I'm wondering if because if they have like a bond, like a mating bond thing going on, if it means more to him because he's found his mate and she doesn't know that she might be his mate, and maybe he's afraid of like rejection, like of having that bond rejected. I don't
I
know.
think it has more to do with the Malcolm thing. He's still tied to Malcolm through their oath bond. Whatever, because there's things that he can't tell her because Malcolm's controlling it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what he's more afraid of. Michael? I'm kind of
Yes.
just sitting. All right. So we start off with like 3 more experiments had failed. So when Carrie finds her, she was throwing beakers at the mountainside. Joining her, he asks her about not having any luck, and she explains to him that the Quicksilver is mocking her, that it laughs every time she tries to combine it with something. So he's given her shit about maybe that she's mad, like mad in the head. But the books she's read state that it is common for alchemists to report that they could hear the Quicksilver. And let me tell you, I've been sitting here trying to come up with a good idea of what she might have to combine with this Quicksilver. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe they needed alchemist blood. And all Carrion says is, have you tried asking it to meld with pure silver? Like, I knew it
If
was
it
going to
was
be
that easy,
easy.
I'd be fucking pissed.
Like,
Like,
I
if
knew it
that's
was
all
going
she
to be
had to do.
easy. But this simple, it makes me feel stupid. Like, just simply ask it. Like, you could talk to it or you could hear it. Just ask it. Like, so she wants to put this theory to test. So they're heading back to the map tent where Danya's sword was in millions of shards embedded into the stone wall. While Carrion lights up the tent, Saeris is focused on the shards when they spoke, and she hears like multiple voices from like multiple directions since it's all split up. And they're saying, she comes, she approaches. And then they say again, she comes, she sees, she hears. So when she presses her finger against one of the shards, this is where she starts hearing the multiple voices. They were talking, screaming, pleading, begging, laughing, and shouting. So she tries again, talking to the Quicksilver, asking it if it would come out of the stone. And then she brings up, about Danya, the one who owned them. They got angry. The Quicksilver was mad because, in their words, they were not owned. Nobody owned them. Nobody tells them what to, like, they don't have an owner. So she tries changing her wording to, the female warrior who carried you, and lets them know that she wishes to carry them again. But according to the Quicksilver, Fae and human desires are no concern to them. So they're not going to listen to her. Like, even if, like, whoever wants them, they're not going to follow that. So we learn that they want music. If they are given music, they will obey to what she's asking. Saeris would find find a song for them to keep if they allowed her to reforge them. They want to be forged into a blade like no other. She then tries to get them to restore the magic but states that it was a gift revoked. So in my opinion, because they had decided long ago that it was undeserved. Did it get taken away when Danya had the sword, or was it before Danya? Because whoever had it, they were not worthy enough to keep the magic. So that tells me that the magic in Nimmerell finds Fisher worthy enough, and it could be because what we find out later on about the Quicksilver in him, that they are one. So that could also be why they decided to keep the magic in the Morel, because he's part of Quicksilver. Did you have something else to add?
Can I just say that these next two, or like everything that happens with this sword coming up, I love that it was a big to
Fuck
Danya.
you.
Like,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
like her.
Yes.
Do not like her.
I don't either.
And I was
But
like,
she got what she deserved. She's the type of person that I'm better than you. Like, she needed to be knocked down quite a few pegs. And this was it. This right here was it. She has some more discussion with the Quicksilver, and it finally decided that if she holds up the bargain, they will taste the blood of the one who will carry them, and if they are honorable, they will consider allowing the old magic to flow through them. So one by one, the pieces of Danya's sword come out of the wall. And then she gets kind of surprised because she didn't realize that Lorith was in the room, but Carrion tried to warn her, but she told Carrion to shush.
yeah.
But he had showed up at some point and offered to help pick up the pieces using his magic, and he placed them like in a little bowl for her. So then she's in the forge working, where she notes that the Quicksilver isn't laughing or mocking her now. It's not splitting from the steel. It was actually being silent and cooperative, but she could feel it being curious as to what she would make. And for what I understand, she makes a pretty badass sword though.
Yeah.
And it went to the right person. It definitely went to the right person.
Yep, he's for sure worthy of it.
Yes. When she takes a break and goes outside the forge, Carrion's making food, sulking, saying that Lorith cheated at the bet they had made about throwing knives at a target into the tree. Lorith was already up to like 219, and Carrion hasn't even had his turn yet. So he just started making food. But she had to humble him, telling him that Lorith was giving him a taste of his own medicine because he used to cheat other people with gambling, especially, and she brought up her brother. But then she kind of changes the subject because she wanted to ask Lorith if he had any experience of whittling. His response was, "I'm more than good, I'm fucking excellent." So she's back in the forge now, and she's shaping the sword into the way that she wanted it. Lorith brought the wolf head he had carved. It resembled the animal embossed into the armor worn by the members of Lupo Proelia. Is that how we said that?
Yeah.
Proelia?
Lu-
Proelia?
yeah. Lupo Proelia.
Proelia. So as she's finishing up the sword, she hears Kingfisher's voice in her mind telling her that it was time for her to rest, because at this point, Carrion decided to go start sleeping. She's still working. And she wondered why he hadn't come inside, considering he was out there for a few hours. Or she assumed he was out there for a few hours. So she asked him, he confirmed it. But he was afraid that she didn't want him in there, so that's why he didn't come inside. So he stays outside for a little bit. She gets the sword done, and she states that the final piece was a thing of beauty, and it had both Lorith, in my opinion, because it doesn't directly tell you, but you could just tell by like their reactions, that it had both Lorith and Kingfisher in awe of the sword that she had made.
Yeah.
So Lorith wanted to hold it. And I wonder if he had like some type of pull to it. Like, I wonder if he felt like a pull to it. Because he asked to hold it, but when he barely ran his finger over it, he cut himself, and he stated. So he made the comment, "You only have to look at the damn thing and it cuts." And I never put two and two together when he said this at first. But it wasn't until he starts singing the song that you could kind of realize that they had chosen him. So at this point, like after he was cut, the Quicksilver lets her know that, they were ready. They wanted their song now. They held up.
And I think this all happened by choice, or this wasn't just like a coincidence that the whole the Aurora was a blessing happening at the same time as all of this going on with the song and the sword and the magic coming back to that. Like, that's not a coincidence at all.
No.
That was like,
no, because then I even
pieces
put
falling
this like
into place.
Stepping outside, Saeris got to witness what they called the Aurora, or a blessing, is what Fisher had stated, because one hasn't happened in over 1,000 years.
And it's been roughly about that long since the magic went away from things.
It had been around the time his dad died, because it was when he was little.
But it's been thousands of years. It's been 1,000 years or so since the Quicksilver stilled. Magic was just gone.
And I know this is jumping, but can I just say, like, the last chapter that we stop at, I love what they gave her, what they're allowing her to use.
Yeah,
Me too. That.
I was like,
I love that. Yes.
Fucking win, man.
Oh, yes. So as they're watching this, and The aurora to me probably resembles what, the northern lights, I'm assuming. Like, does
The
that
aurora
get there?
borealis. Yeah. That's that's how I pictured it. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of how I did. So they're watching the sky when Lorith just starts singing, with the sword laying in his lap. Again, this is why I think he was like drawn to it, because he didn't give it back to her. He just takes it, lays it on his lap, and starts singing. So it's like he knew what was, like, he was
yeah.
doing it like on autopilot, like not even thinking about this.
Yeah, and it could be that Quicksilver spoke to him in a way that, he knew exactly what needed to be done or had that connection that knew what needed to be done in that moment.
Yeah. Well, the song that he chose had Fisher tensing up. I didn't go like crazy. I didn't write anything about the song. It was just about the song that Fisher stabbing his sword through Nam Shakrai's throat, and how like everybody helped him, and it was just about that battle. At this point, Carrion wakes up to the singing and is jealous that he could do that as well. He said it was messed up. It was nice, but the song was messed up. So at this point, Saeris then mentions that it was time to go get Dania. But then the Quicksilver spoke that they had made their decision, and this causes both Lorith and Kingfisher to like jerk back in surprise in a way, because they had both
Yeah.
heard the Quicksilver speak. And it makes sense for Fisher to be able to hear the Quicksilver, but it was odd that Lorith actually heard the Quicksilver as well, because he should not have been able to. But according to the Quicksilver, the bargain had been filled. He was the first to bleed upon the blade. The sword had claimed Lorith. Fisher was happy that it had chosen Lorith and found it funny that Dania was going to lose her shit over it.
Yep.
So you can tell how his feelings on this chick. And he does state, like, it was like he deserved it. That Lorith deserved this. He went 400 years without a god sword. She can take her seat and wait for her next turn. That he
Yep.
deserved this. But Lorith is freaking out because he didn't mean to bleed on this blade. He didn't want them, or he stated,
And
he's
it
like, I
it
didn't mean to
picked him
claim it.
before. Yeah, it picked him before he even did the song. Like, cause he even said, like you just look upon it and it cuts. Like you barely look at it and it
So
cuts. Like it picked him
that's why I feel like there was a
immediately.
connection, like for him to be drawn to that sword and want to check it out. And then the Quicksilver, like when he's holding the sword, they felt a certain connection to him, thinking like they knew he was worthy before they even did their little blood test. Like it was like they
Yeah.
knew. When he does state about he didn't mean to claim her sword, the Quicksilver was quick to say that they were reforged. He does not claim them. They claim him. They had chosen him. So Saeris lets him know, that he deserved it because he made the pommel of the sword. He helped cast it, and it was his song that sealed the bargain. And this has everyone confused because he doesn't remember singing any song about the Ajun Gate. He only remembers that he wanted to make a song about it, but never got around to it. Excuse me. No one remembers the song because the Quicksilver kept it for themselves. That's what they meant by they wanted their own song to keep. So they took their memories. And this gets her to... Oh, I jumped apart. Okay, so she only remembers because they remember. The Quicksilver remembers the song. So they said, we remember, the alchemist remembers. And this makes her believe that she's going to need to make other bargains in order to make all these relics. So what did they say? Like over 15,000? Is that what?
Yeah.
That's a lot of bargains that she's gonna, if that's what she has to do. It hasn't been totally confirmed yet. The Quicksilver wants Lorth to name it before they add the magic to it. It was tradition, though, for the smith in Ivalia, who forges the sword, to name it, but Saeris let Lorth do the honors, so he names it Avisieth.
Vizieth.
Oh, I got it right. Ooh, Avisieth. The unsung
Mm-hmm.
song, Redemption's Dawn. This then causes a blue flame to ripple down the sword's blade, searing runes into the metal in its wake alongside the script that she had etched. Then a white light erupts from it, powerful and binding. This gets Fisher all excited and whooping, and he calls it Angel's Breath. But that's all we know. Like, no details on what this Angel's Breath is. So
Yeah.
is that like a previous god sword that was rebuilt, or is it something that was like in history books that you only read about, you never saw it firsthand? Like, we
Yeah.
really
And that's
don't
something we
know.
don't, yeah, we don't get anything
Like,
more
not even the
than
next.
like it's an exciting thing to witness.
Yeah, because in this next chapter, like, everybody was like, did we witness? Like, everybody was surprised, but they knew about it. But we don't know, like, in depth yet what that all means.
Yeah.
You're good?
Okay. Um, so reeling from all of that excitement, Fisher takes her back to his tents. Uh, he tells her to that she's gonna sleep there. He will sleep there too, but he's got to take care of something, or he's got to go talk to Ren, I think. But he'll be sleeping in there with her. But first he says she needs a fucking shower. She just slaved 15 hours in the sweltering forge, making the sword. She even makes a comment to herself that she never felt that gross after a long day in the forge with Elroy. Um, and I thought this was kind of cute. It was sweet. You know, he sits with her. She's exhausted. Um, you know, while she's soaking in the tub, they're touching hands in like a gentle way, and tells her that he was wrong. She is a good thief. And when she asks what she stole, he tells her to sleep and that he'd be back as soon as he spoke to Red.
I think
I think
she
she's still.
stole his heart.
Yeah.
She stole his heart. It was so
Yeah.
obvious what he meant. He was like nervous to
Yeah.
tell her exactly what he meant
Yeah.
because she doesn't know the full extent to their bond that they
Yeah.
have going on right now. So, yes.
So she falls asleep in the tub. She wakes at him washing her hair and then wakes back up when he's taking her from the tub and puts her in bed. And he crawls in bed next to her. Um, she wakes up in the middle of the night and she's cuddled up next to him and she tries reaching out for the Quicksilver. She succeeds in finding it and decides to have a little conversation. She introduces herself as alchemist, but they already know who she is. And they tell her that she is the dawn, she is the moon, she is the sky, she is the oxygen in our lungs, which kind of puzzles her. And I want to know more about that. Like, why she's so special compared to some of the other alchemists. Like, you know, even they're like excited about her. And I don't know if it's because there's an actual alchemist around again and they're awakened or, you know, what's going on, but it seems like there's something super special about her specifically. And she decides she's going to go for it and says, I want you to leave Fisher, leave his body. I want you to come out of him. I'll even strike a deal with you. They say that they can't, that they are him, he is them. And she says, you're Quicksilver. You're not supposed to bind with living creatures. And they respond back, you know, we bind with all kinds of weapons. So, like, why is he a weapon? Like, what is he, like, what is special about him? Is he, like, touched by the gods? Is he, like, what happened that they
Is
consider
it,
him a living, breathing weapon?
but is it because he shadow, all his shadows? Like, back when the
Don't know yet.
icebreakers first came, she notes with when she's standing with Carrion that there was shadows that swept across the little darn there. So I
Like
wonder if
he's
that's why
very
they consider,
powerful.
yeah, I wonder if that's why they consider him a weapon, because he
Yeah.
manipulates the shadows to do what he needs it to do, and I guess that could be considered as a weapon.
Okay. I mean that yeah. Um she tries to say, he's not a weapon, he's a living, breathing person, and the Quicksilver tells her that he is a weapon. He's the best weapon. Again, we are him, he is us. We cannot leave. We will die. And she asks, will you die? Will Fisher die? And they say, all of us. We are one thing, one weapon. She even offers to guide them out. She said, I can feel them inside him. I can put you back with the other Quicksilver at college, forge you into an impressive blade. And they say that they were forged hundreds of years ago. They cannot be unmade. Uh, she even like kind of pleads with him, like, you're hurting him, he's suffering because of you. But they say that nothing can be done. Again, they constantly say, we are him, he is us, we all suffer. And they go back and forth, and it ends with them saying the die was cast centuries ago, we accepted our fate, all of us did, and so that's it. That conversation with the Quicksilver ends pretty bleak and dreary. Did not go at all the way she wanted it to go. Um, then he brushes her cheek. He was awake. He was able to hear the parts of the conversation that the Quicksilver said to her. And with the way that it was going, he was able to kind of put two and two together and paint a picture of what she was asking of it. Oh, he even tells her that he was, waiting to see if she'd try anything, try to yank it out of him. Says he's not angry. She wanted to help. And he says that it's a part of him and without it, he'll die. And then Ren busts in. And she's like fucking naked underneath her blanket, and here he comes. He apologizes, thinking she was back in college.
I don't think
And
she
he
was
tells
fully
Fisher,
naked. Didn't she have like a
I think
see-through?
I thought that was at the other place. I thought he just took her out of the tub and put her directly in bed.
I thought she had something on.
I don't know. Maybe okay, she might have been wearing something. I don't know. It just said she was covering up her boobies with a sheet and stuff. So
I'm
I just
curious now. You carry on. I'm gonna find this out. 'Cause I'm a little.
uh, oh, I lost my place. He tells Fisher that the horde is at the banks again. All hell is breaking loose. He tells Ren that he'll see him at the river and that it would be best for Saeris to stay, but she insists on coming. And she says that the only way she'll stay in the tent is if he forces her to, and that she's not going back to college. And she's pleading with him in her mind, like, don't make me go, please. And he makes her swear that she would stay right by his side if he allows her to come. So she does, and he, uses that to be able to trust her, allowing
Shorts.
her to come. And then that's when he gets out his father's sword. You gotta let me finish because this is exciting. Okay. Then he gets his fucking father's sword, and he says, my father's body rests somewhere in Silvarin. His sword spent the past millennia there, which makes it more Silvarin than ever. Wait, is that how it says? Hold up. Okay. Oh, then Evelian. It auto-corrected to fucking Evelyn. That's why I was like, hold up. What was I trying to say? Evelian now. And he fucking suits her up with it. Like, he puts on a scabbard, he places solace in its little sheath, and he arms her with his father's sword, which was really fucking amazing. And
Which,
just, big character growth for him because he was such a dick. And
but it makes
it's,
sense.
oh, you know,
She was able to wield it
good.
and pull it out of the pool. So it makes sense that she should be the one to use it.
Yep. And off they go to the Darn or the river or whatever. And that's where we leave off. The Horde once again trying to fucking cross the river. And we're
Uh,
left on a cliffhanger,
as
not knowing what's about
always,
to happen
dun dun
happen until next
dun.
week. So yeah, here we are.
Shorts and a camisole.
Okay, whatever.
She wanted to be naked, but he dressed
Okay,
her. He dressed
okay.
her.
I must have skipped
I
that part when
think
you took her out of the tub.
I think it was because she wanted things to happen. He wanted her to sleep because she had just worked 15 plus hours on the sword.
Yeah.
She needed her rest, and he wanted that for her. So, of course, he's going to dress her.
Anyways, get the book, fucking follow along, get caught up. It's fucking great. I have not
Yes.
found an ick. I have
No.
not
How
found
did
the
that?
DNF. I don't
I don't
know,
get
like,
it.
I don't know.
I think I'm going to have to do some research and find out
But
why people were DNF in it.
I've thought about it, but honestly, I don't want any spoilers. I've already found a
I
spoiler about the
know.
three
Yeah,
big
that's true.
bads. I found a spoiler about the three big bads that I didn't think I was
I don't want to know.
gonna find. It's literally out of left field. You don't fucking expect it.
Yeah, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Let me read it. Just let me read it. I don't want to know.
I'm like, yep.
Anything that I see like on TikTok or anything for Quicksilver, I just save it and scroll. Save and scroll. I will go back to it
And the
later
thing is,
on.
like, I don't see too many Quicksilver things. Like, I've seen the things that you have sent me. I've seen, like, the AI designed images of the
That are
people
creepy.
and stuff from the book. And, like,
That get
yeah.
creepy.
But I have not seen anything, like, too
Did
much
I send you the
on TikTok,
AI?
especially because you've been sending me stuff. So I figured that shit would start to filter through. And then I start seeing spoiler stuff, and I haven't.
Did I send you the AI one of the first chapter? Where she's like climbing the wall and stuff and with the guardian? Oh,
Uh-uh.
that shit was
I don't
creepy.
think so.
The
What the?
AI, their mouths and stuff moving was so creepy.
I don't think you did.
So creepy. Let me see here. Did I save it? I don't think I saved it. A lot of my saves recently have been Palia. So I need to find the bonus chapter though.
There's a bonus chapter?
His point of view. It's not in the book. I think you either get it, you might get it on your audio. So I'm gonna have to look it up. Oh, I don't. Oh, I didn't like it. Ugh. Okay. Somebody did like an AI of like the first chapter and like their mouths moving and shit was creepy. So I don't have it on here. Because I don't think I sent it to you. Yeah, I don't think I sent it to you. Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to find it and send it to you. Because the last few things that I've been finding are fourth wing stuff, so. Definitely going to have to find it and send it to you. But thank you for watching or listening to this week's episode, and join us next week for chapters 31 through 35, where things start to get intense. I'm not ready for it
Here
to
I
end,
am sitting on my phone, like thinking like we were done.
I was looking
and
for
we
that
didn't do the
TikTok.
outro.
That's okay. We'll keep the little blooper in. That's what we do.